Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to be back. It's been about 6.5 years, I think, since I was here. It was a great time. I remember it so fondly. And this time I'd like to share some thoughts with you about the sacred and the silly as pathways to the joy of the present moment. To get into this, what I'd like to do is go back about 800 years, halfway around the world to ancient Persia, the Sufi mystic poets that were writing then. Rumi, everybody's a fan of Rumi, right? Most of us. Anybody also familiar with his contemporary Hafez? Some of us know Hafez. So if you don't know Hafez, I encourage you to go get a book of Hafez poems, because he's not only very deep, very profound spiritual poet, but also whimsical, which I love. And 800 years ago, he said this: what is the difference between your experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual pathway is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move that the saint is now tripping over joy, bursting out in laughter and saying, "I surrender." Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves. Good, huh? Well, I can relate to this really, really well, because about 26 or 7 years ago, life got really serious for me, really suddenly, literally overnight. And I got into a lot of trouble, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. A lot of trauma, a very, very scary time. There was a lot of despair, there was a lot of terror. It's a long story we don't have time for, but you need to know it was a low point. Anybody else had a low point? Just curious? Because if you're down there, how it jumpstarts your motivation. So I was looking at my life, I was trying to figure out what happened and come up with some kind of excuse. So this is what I figured out. It's called Just a Little Soul Hanging Out in Space. Just a little soul hanging out in space, getting ready to come into the human race. And God came over and he said to me, "Well, kid, what you want to be? Yeah, it's time for you to go get a life. But you don't have to have no struggle or strife. You can live a life of comfort and ease, worldly pleasures, do as you please. I can give you parents with lots of money, Southern California, bright and sunny, tall and handsome, movie star, fancy parties, expensive cars, or maybe an athlete with rhythm and grace. You could do the Olympics, win every race, confidence just oozing from you, and the women, they're gonna love you. Or maybe you'd like to help those in low places, like a Peace Corps worker, Mother Teresa. But when it's all said and done, being the Pope is a lot more fun. Or how about a yogi with magical powers? You could levitate for hours and hours and teach everybody to walk on hot coals, sell books and CDs by the truckloads. Well, what do you say, kid? You make the call. You can have any part or you can have it all. You just tell me what you want to be, and I'll give it to you. It's my guarantee, yeah. Well, I just stood there with my mouth open, because that's just what I've been hoping. But while I was deciding to choose which one, I thought, well, maybe I'll just have me some fun. It's me and God, see? We're pretty tight. And I know God likes a good joke, all right. So I figure I'll pull his leg for a while, see if I can make the old boy smile. So I say, Father, oh mine, all that glory, to tell you the truth, sounds kind of boring. I want a life with some challenge to it. Something I gotta work to get through. I don't want fame and easy success. I want to be shamed and easily depressed. With various physical and mental afflictions. Might as well throw in multiple addictions. I don't need life to be a sweet dream. I want writer's block and low self-esteem, sensitive skin and food allergies. And when I get around girls, make me sneeze. Make me wish that I had more height. Give me claustrophobia, stage fright, prone to worry, riddled with doubt, thinking I'll never figure life out. Yeah, that's it, God. That's what I want to have. And then I just shut up so he could laugh. Well, God looked at me with a puzzled brow, shook his head and just said, "Holy cow." For a minute he stood there, pulling his beard, and then he said, "Kid, you're pretty darn weird. And I know you're just playing the fool, but this time, kid, the joke's on you." And then he grinned at me and he yelled, "Shazam! That's my story, and here I am." Glad you can relate. You know, Will Rogers said if you find yourself in a hole, first thing is stop digging. Yeah, stop digging is true. We have to have some consciousness around what we think about all day because it tends to show up. But the good news about that is if we own that, we take responsibility for our lives, then there's hope there, right? There's power there. Because if I'm the problem in my life, I'm also what? Problem in everyone else's life. There's this great little passage in the Gospel of Thomas I just love. It says, "If you bring forth that which is inside you, it will save you." How many people have heard of an artist, a painter, named Donald Roller Wilson? Nobody. Me neither. But I read about him in the Airline magazine. Now, Donald Roller Wilson has a very, very unusual, you would say unique niche, because all he paints are animals, dogs, cats, chimps, dressed up in fancy clothes doing bizarre things, like playing with floating pickles and things. And these paintings are very detailed, gothic even, very realistic. And they're amazingly expensive. He sells little paintings like this for $25,000, $30,000. He's got a huge, big celebrity fan base. And so I enjoyed these paintings because they were so whimsical, but I especially loved this quote that he had in the article. And he said, this is the quote, "It takes all the arrogance out of everything you do when you know that God is so much bigger than you are. And yet, everything you are and do and see is filled with God. The trees, the asphalt, the people fighting over Aquanet at Walmart." He said, that sounds silly. But silliness is just as important as love, just as important as tragedy. You can make a profound intellectual statement just by basing your efforts on silliness. Well, I agree with that completely. Now, some of us, I'm sure, have seen this Robin Williams movie, Patch Adams. Anybody remember that? About 20 years old. Anybody had the opportunity to see the real Patch Adams give a talk or anything? Have you? Yeah, so physically, you know, he's not like Robin Williams. Physically, Patch is really tall and skinny, like 6'7", kind of a beanpole, long gray hair down to mid-thigh, usually half dyed blue. And he's a medical doctor who dresses like a clown. Every day, all day, Patch is a clown doctor. Patch has figured out that clowning and silliness are the ways that he can inflict love and compassion on the world. So this is what he does. And I've been around Patch a lot. We've been at a lot of conferences together. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I've seen this effect that he's had. This is one person being silly in a profound way. I've seen this effect that he's had all over the world, this wave that he's created. He's almost finished building the first silly hospital The Gesundheit Institute. It's in West Virginia. You can go volunteer there if you want to. And one of the things Pat says, he said, I've heard him say it a few times, and then he feels like the world is wallowing in misery. And then one of the most radical things you can do is to have a good day. Well, that's not really radical to us in Unity. We teach that. But let me ask you this. We all know that life is serious. If we forget, we can turn on the news for 2 minutes. We get reminded how serious life is. But is there anybody here besides me who's ever had the particular gift or talent of making life even more serious than it already is? Yeah, because I'm an expert at this. I can forget everything in about 10 seconds, and revert. So I wrote this for myself. You can see if this helps you. This is called writer's block, or the long-term positive and negative effects of worry. I was worried about not writing any songs. No words, no tunes, nothing for way too long. I was worried I'd never write again. Maybe there was no more ink in my pen. And I thought about that, and I began to feel ashamed. I was ashamed that I'd been worried about not writing. I've been through droughts before and come out fighting. It seemed like my worry was out of control, and I was ashamed of it down to my soul. And then it hit me what I was doing, and I started feeling guilty. I was guilty that I could let myself feel shame over something so insignificant as this writing game. I thought I'd released that stuff long ago, and I felt guilty that I had such a long way to go. And then I realized what I was doing, and I got embarrassed. I was embarrassed that my shame could make me feel guilty. All these negative thought patterns, man, it was silly. Someone could see inside my head. They'd give me a drug and put me to bed. Yeah, I was embarrassed. That made me mad. I was angry that I could be so immature. I was angry at me, down on myself for sure. And as my anger turned into resentment, I thought about what the long-term effect of that meant, and I realized what I was doing to my body, and I began to feel afraid. I was afraid of what I was doing to myself. All these negative emotions affecting my health. If body and mind are so interconnected, my shame, guilt, worry, and fear were making me infected. And I was afraid that I was becoming depressed. And as I began to sink into depression, the effect on my body and mind became an obsession. The outcome of this could not be in doubt. Gave me something new to worry about. I knew that I might not be around for too long, so I wrote it all down and I had a new song. When I thought about that, I was fine again. Pretty silly. But there's great joy in that. See, there's great joy in taking something limiting and bothersome and troublesome and restrictive and turning it inside out or upside down and reframing it with humor. So all of a sudden it's not such a big deal anymore. All of a sudden it's just like this manageable thing that you can make fun of. And worry is the enemy of joy, right? Because if we're worried, are we in this moment? Oh, where are we? Okay, past, future, right? But not here. The thing is, it's okay to look at the past and the future. Just don't stare. A lot of people get in the habit of staring. We get a lot of encouragement from our culture to do that, to stare at the past and the future, give away our power. We're going to have some fun with that in the concert today. We're going to look at some of the ways that we're encouraged to do that, because when you step back and you can laugh at it, just like with that last song, now you have power over it. We're going to look at the top 10 whiny victim love songs. We're going to look at advertising, certain kinds of advertising, things like that. Also, I also want to support the veterans and thank you for your service. And I believe today is the 100th anniversary of the armistice, right? World War I, isn't that what I heard? So I have a World War I song I'd like to play this afternoon too. It's a very, very special story. Anyway, back to comedy. So I heard Mel Brooks talking about this on 60 Minutes. He said, Socrates told us it's good to know thyself. He said, but I've learned it's way better to now thyself. Now thyself. He said, we need more people living in the now. Like this is every day, this is our last day. Which is why I never have clean clothes, because who wants to do laundry on the last day? Well, silliness is a great way to now thyself. Silliness is a great way to stop staring at the past and the future and come back to this moment. My bias about this is that all the reasons we come to God, all of these qualities that we associate with God, all the power, all the love, all the healing, all the grace, all the joy, all the forgiveness, all the peace, all the hope, all the strength, everything we come to God for is available in every moment. God doesn't take breaks. But we get stuck. We're busy. We have important grown-up stuff to do, and we stare at the past and the future. Silliness is a great way to come back to the moment and open that gift. Every 4-year-old knows this. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is where? Then. And to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must be like a child. Pretty simple. So I have a 3-second demonstration that will make the point. I could talk to you about this all day. Really, I could. But I have a 3-second demonstration that will totally make the point. And this demonstration does not require any thought or preparation or talent or anything. All you have to do when I say go is pick somebody sitting close to you and for 3 seconds have a contest to see who can make the weirdest face. Ready? Go. Come on, let it out. Get weird. Stretch those muscles.
Where's yours, Ron?
That's my lucky charms this morning.
Let's get going for a while. That's good. That's suspiciously healthy. So I'm willing to bet that for those 3 seconds, nobody in here was thinking about their mortgage. Nobody in here was thinking about the test results or the divorce papers or whatever could be going on. We're just in here in that fun and that love, enjoying that moment together. The joy that is the unmistakable sign of the presence of God. People ask me all the time, Greg, how can I get more silliness into my life? If you grow up serious like I did, it's okay to practice. It's okay to give yourself permission to do stuff and try things out. So people ask me, and I say, well, one of the easiest ways for me that I've ever found, just to have more fun, is not to give a serious answer to any question that doesn't require it. People ask you stuff all day long. Well, you can give yourself permission to just be goofy and answer something totally bizarre. So what's the one question, for example, here's how to start. What's the one question you get asked all day long? How you doing? All day long people ask you how you doing. fine, great. Oh, okay, you know, whatever. Oh, I'm having a bad day. You know, whatever it is. Well, what if instead of how you doing, fine, you said something like, how you doing? Well, I'm still getting away with it. How you doing? Parts of me are excellent. How you doing? Well, if I was getting better, I'd be twins. How you doing? Really good since the sex change. You know, there's lots of stuff you can just have in your back pocket. Just put 2 or 3 of those in your mental back pocket and try them out. It's not always going to work. Sometimes you're going to get looked at like, huh? But sometimes you're going to make somebody's day. Some cashier, somebody who doesn't even know you, sometimes you're going to make their day, and you're both going to share this little moment, and it's really going to be fun and sort of change that vibe. So that's one really easy way to just inject more silliness into your daily life. All right, so silliness is a great way to now thyself. But it's not the only way. You come to this church, you know about other ways. You know about meditation and prayer. You know about service and gratitude and powerful feelings of love and connection. Well, the other thing I just want to touch on briefly is the experience of the sacred. And what I mean by sacred is the mystical connotation of this word sacred. Because one of the things that happened to me when I got down in that black hole of despair and didn't know how I'd done it, and I was so terrified that I would never ever have a good day again, that I would just be stuck down there for the rest of my life. By the way, this went on for years. One of the things I did was I went back to reading mystics, which I'd gotten away from. And I rediscovered descriptions of the mystical experience of joining with God. What I mean here is merging with God so completely, so totally, that the only thing left is God. The little self, the little ego disappears, and everything is God. It's like J.D. Salinger in that story about the woman feeding milk to her baby. And he said it was like watching God pour God into God. That's what the mystics talk about. And it doesn't really matter which tradition you look at or which century you look at. Their descriptions are amazingly similar. The vocabulary is so similar. It's, you know, ecstasy, nirvana, rapture, ultimate bliss, cosmic consciousness, God consciousness. The mystics that have achieved this state and fallen out of it, all they want is to get back there. That's all they care about. I just want to be there. Well, it helped me a lot, these descriptions, because I felt like if people could live at that level, then surely I had to be able to get up out of this hole I was in and just have a normal life. So what I'd like to do in the last couple minutes is create a little mystical experience together where we go a little ways down that path with singing, chanting, prayer, meditation all wrapped up together. Would that be okay? Would you be up for that? Yeah? Okay, so we're going to use this beautiful little chant. People think I wrote it because I recorded it. It's not mine. It's by Michael Stillwater. He gets the credit. It's an amazing little piece of music. We did it last time I was here, 6 years ago, so if you were here then you might remember it. It's very simple. It's a 2-part chant. We have a lower part for the guys and a higher part for the ladies. You don't have to sing that part. You can sing the other part, but that's kind of how it's written. So I'm going to teach it to you quickly. And then we're going to take these words down so that you can just sing it and feel it. Because when we sing these 2 parts together, that's when magic happens. Okay? So, first low part, I am one with the heart of a mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. This is how it sings. And if you know it, help me teach it to the rest of us. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, let's all try it. Here we go. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, a little louder this time. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. Good. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, great. That is, for a couple of you, I'll just say that this is actually easier with your mouth open. The thing is, it's not about you singing. It's not about that. It's about a sound. You'll see what I mean when we start doing this. It's about a sound that we're going to make together. We're going to make this amazing sound. And if you are making the sound, then you're going to be taking the sound. So we get more out of it if you sing. Okay, low part. That's the low part, typically the male part. And we also have this beautiful, simple high part, Ave Maria. And this is a Greek phrase you probably heard sometime. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison means Lord have mercy. Kyrie eleison. If you can't remember that, just sing carry a laser with an accent. Close enough. Okay. So, where are my Kat and Bertie? They're going to help lead this and help teach it. So, Ave Maria, Kyrie eleison. Yeah. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ave Maria, Kyrie eleison. Okay, now I just want to say, so obviously I'm doing a lower part. Kat, Bertie, Kat, you're doing the high part?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kat's doing the soprano part. You can do either part, or you can, find a harmony if you know one, but just pick a part and go with it. 1, 2. Can we rest for one bar, then again? Okay, Peggy, can we pull these down? I know this is maybe a little hard for you to do it without the words, but really it's so simple. And I want you to feel it. I want you to sing it without reading, so that you're not focused on something else other than how it feels. Okay, so I invite you to relax. Give yourself permission to now thyself and see how this works for you. We're going to start with the low part. Men, we're outnumbered. I need all of you. I am one with the heart of the Mother, love, Father, God. Lee, did you bring me down here? Did I lose some volume? Yeah? Okay, thanks. So, I am one with the heart of the Mother, love, Father, God. Men and any men helpers, here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. The one, again, just the low part. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Keep it going, man, ladies. Ave. Ave. softer. Very softly. Just silently. Let all things be healthy. Let all things be peaceful. Be sure to count your blessings at least once a day. Forgive those who have hurt you and those who have offended you. But forgive yourself for what you have done, for that which you have failed to do. That which is done, there is no need to speak of. That which is past, there is no need to blame. Have self-control, self-knowledge, self-respect, and the courage to dare. Be tranquil. The light of intelligence will shine. Strive to make a spot where you stand beautiful. Then the beauty and harmony will follow you in all your days and in all your ways. On this journey we call life. Let's get ready to hum our parts together. Together.
kids take grace, for sure come. Also, we're inviting the youngsters, the Rainbow Circles this year. Usually it's just the Wow-Ewers, and we're inviting the Uniteens. So it's going to be all kids participating, which should be much more exciting. Thanks. The kids take grace, for sure come. Also, we're inviting the youngsters, the Rainbow Circles this year. Usually it's just the Wow-Ewers, and we're inviting the Uniteens. So it's going to be all kids participating, which should be much more exciting. Thanks.
He wants that cake. Mike wants the first piece of cake. Like his hair is on fire. That's right. Flawless. Yeah, he was. I mean, he just. I'm telling you what, his hair.